to Another Way to See It with your boy No Cap. I'm chilling with my man Two Joe tonight. What's up, Two Joe?
Mr. Wise was good. Thanks for having me.
Good, good for sure, for sure. So I just want to jump right into this topic with you, no horseplay. Uh, I was having this discussion with somebody earlier tonight, and it seemed to me, it seems to me as if a lot of this, we was having it kind of veered off into a little bit of a biblical discussion, but it I just want your opinion on this, and I'm gonna check with a few people on this particular topic. But does it? It seems to me like this. It's there's a lot of patriarch going on in these biblical principles. So uh, I get a lot from these, particularly these Hebrews, but a lot of them, but not just the Hebrews, but a lot of them um, talk about how the man is superior in the relationship, and I'll argue that on the woman's behalf, being that they
Mm,
were created 50-50 equally.
mm,
But he talked about the creation story and how they were both. I didn't fully understand where he was coming from, partially because if God made man and woman together in the man, then I take it as the man being able to produce a woman or a child. But it seemed like he was saying that he made the man and the woman together, two individual people
mm,
inside of one person. But when it
mm.
comes over, when it when it came over to when he said it's not good for man to be alone, and he made the woman out of the man's rib, I personally kind of took it as if the man is now uh, have some sort of seniority over the woman. Uh, and so I was just wondering, what's your take on that? Does it is it just me, or is it written that way, or is it seem like the men in these different uh, religious practices seem to be the superior here? What's your take? Is it should be 50-50, or does the man really have superior? Am I missing something?
I think my personal belief is that it's just a reflection of our physicality through history. You know, that's what I think it is. I'm with you. I think if I look at science, it's obvious that it should be the women, right? Like if you have plants and certain organisms that are asexual, that means they can start off female, but they can choose based on the need. That seems to be the more superior species. If you could be asexual, right? If I can't carry a baby and pass on life, right? If I can't, if every single you know human being had the opportunity to do that, we'll obviously live longer. So females always got to be superior if we're looking at science, right? I have the ability to carry a life, to reproduce the life. You know, only thing they need from us is the sperm. So I would say that. But if we're looking at, my son's a historian, and if I'm looking at why matriotic is so, I don't think it's biblical. I think it's straight physicality. I think you go back far enough, men are going to be the more the ones to be able to impose their will physically. If there's a society and it's 100 men and 100 women, and we go back before we got guns, before we got law, and 9 times out of 10, the men are going to be the one to implement the order. And I think that's shown in the Bible. Me and my son had the exact same conversation one time. You know, the exact same conversation. That it does seem to be patriotic, but I think that's just um, a reflection of the differences between men and women. If you put me on the island and the women on the island, be like, when are y'all gonna set the tone? Who gonna call the shots? Who gonna call the shots, me or her? If we get to an argument and it becomes verbal and it goes past verbal, what's gonna happen? And I think that's what it is. Now, as far as the man and woman being made, I don't know. It's biblically, that's a tough one, bro. I don't even know how it would just be a man and only a man. You know, I don't know. That guy's creation and evolution. I don't want to get too much into that. I don't know because
Right.
I'm not too knowledgeable about that, so I don't know. But as far as just in general, who's the most dominant of the two, I would say it's a woman because they have the ability to carry life, right? But physically, if somebody was to create law and order, if you put a bunch of men and women in one place, and we'd be like, and who's going to create order, and who's going to be the one to be the top dog or the king? It's obviously going to be us just because we're stronger. I don't think it has nothing to do with who's smarter. I think it just has to do with with the way that we're created. But I don't know, man. Biblically, that's a tough one. Is it hermaphrodite, a man and a woman at the same time? I don't know.
Well,
You could do that in
yeah,
real life, right? You could be hermaphrodite if that's what he said. I don't know. If we're talking about the Bible, I know we're talking about the Bible specifically. I don't know. I like to
yeah.
believe in creation and evolution, so I don't know. I'm sorry. Go
So
ahead. I didn't
so
mean to overtalk you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, so he believed in that same manner that he believed in that same manner that of course in physicality and that's kind of like a no-brainer, if that a man's going to bench more than a woman. you,
Hmm.
that's kind of like a no-brainer. So I get that part, but what I was trying to find is, again, I'm advocating for the women here. If 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 they are 50-50, what what characteristics of the woman that matches that man's 50? So the man is he's strong because he got the muscle, and he could do all the tough stuff, right? So he says, I'm more obviously superior because I can take on more bullets, I can get stabbed more often, I can do all this other tough stuff. But when I asked him to give me where the woman has leverage, he couldn't. He said there isn't such a thing.
It
That
bear
this that
life.
the woman said that he said that's all that the woman is pretty much based is good for, is for bearing life, pretty much.
Wow. I think that's the
Which
only reason that men have that physicality is to protect the woman while she's in her weakened state, bearing our life. I think that's the only
sure.
purpose our strengths even serve is to protect that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So no, so what I'm trying to find is it really balanced, or is it leaning toward the male because of his strength? I mean, what does it what is it that the woman offers that brings equality?
The life, the gift of life, is bigger than the gift of strength. It's more of a
Yes. So that
yeah, it's
wouldn't
more of a
be
trump
equal.
card.
So
Yeah,
I'm trying to see, is there any equality,
between men and
or is,
women.
yeah, is it
I
just,
don't.
I mean, I do
I think if
everything
we're
else
gonna
and
group it as a
you.
whole, I think there's difference. I think there's. I'm not gonna lie. I think there's gonna be a difference. I don't think it's one equal. I think it's different. I think men and women are 100% different. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, with expressing those differences. But I
Absolutely,
don't.
absolutely.
But like I said, I
I'm
think
just.
we're only strong. The lion is bigger than the lioness. Right? It goes. This is not just us. We can see
Hmm.
examples of this all throughout nature. The male German Shepherd is bigger than the female German Shepherd. There's reasons for this. I don't think it makes
Absolutely.
one more
I'm.
dominant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe one physically stronger doesn't mean nothing. And we're gonna find instances where there's women that's stronger than some men, right? I could find a 90-pound male. I don't know. I think in general, I think in general we just get to write the story. That's what I really believe. I think if we get to
Yeah.
sit down and yeah. If we get into debate, the man is the one who gets the ultimate authority because I could beat you up. That's what it. That's long before guns and
Yeah.
civilization and domestic violence and police. We were around hundreds of thousands of years with nothing to and we have evidence with matriotic societies where women have led. But I don't know. That's a tough one. I try not to. I don't know. I try not to get too much into that though. I would never. I would never think that I'm above a woman just because I'm stronger. I do understand that there's differences, but I don't understand how strength could be above the gift of life, though. Like if I'm tallying somebody's talents, and I say this person could give life, and this person is strong, like who's better, right? The life giver is obviously more rarer. Yes, she's almost a magician. The women almost has magic. We're just
Yeah.
strong. That's cool. A bear is strong, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know about I don't know how that puts us above them. I get. Are
So
you trying to say biblically? Are you trying to say in the Bible you just feel like it's more matriotic than it should be, or
no,
the
no.
Bible specifically?
Well, I understand it even reads that way biblically. I'm not questioning the arrangement. I guess what I'm asking is, do you think that, because like he said, like in these different activities that the men are substantially greater at, but then I asked, are there areas where the woman has had an opportunity to be uh, eligible to be trained in the things that the men are? to be competitive, or is it that the male is saying, "Hey, this is my department. The female, that's your department. You don't learn my trade, I don't learn your trade. So there's no way you can ever learn what I know to even be in competition if I got a barrier between me and you because of our because we're male and female. There's a barrier between us. So you can't even a woman can't even take the welding class because women aren't welders. So she'll never be able to compete to see even if she is better than the male. And that's just hypothetically, not literally. So what I'm asking is, do you think that this is rooted out of our way that we follow religion? Like they got the women, they got the mask, they got them wrapped up with the blanket to peep the eyes out like a ninja. I said,
Mm-mm-mm.
what is that for? Is that something that they just wanted to do? He goes, no. Well, that's something that men decided to have the women do. Okay, fair enough. Where did the men get that idea from? So
Mm.
it eventually led back to something that was spiritual or religion or some kind of religious principle that stated
Beyond
these
that,
things that are implemented. You
I think it was survival. I don't think it was religion. I
think it
think
was
it
just
was we were
survival.
hunters and gatherers. A woman in certain situations, a man gonna be better than a woman. In
Hmm.
certain circumstances, it'll be vice versa. It
Give me
just
an
so happened
example.
that the majority of human history, hunters and gatherers. That's what we were for a
Hmm.
long time. That means
Okay.
we had to get a spear, run around, and hunt food. And when we found food that was growing wildly, we gathered it up and took it with us. We didn't know how to, create our own shit for a long time. So and no, just by that very need of survival, the humans gotta eat and gotta be safe. Then the men is king in that world. I hate to say it. And if that were to happen right
Hmm.
now, the same would hold. If a nuclear bomb were to hit, knock all the grocery stores out, knock all the internet out, it's survival of the fittest. Once again, you will see men reign dominant superiority because we're more built for that lifestyle. Now, there's going to be some exceptions. There's going to be some women that's going to be military leaders, and through history we see that with Ethiopians, with Sheba, we see the fucking
Hmm.
Jonah Ark. We see through
Hmm.
history that there's some females that showed exemplary talents and skills, and they're stronger. And they got a little
Hmm.
testosterone, whatever.
Hmm.
It's not all, but it's very situational. If we're in a situation where for some reason we had a big war go out and we lost 90% of our people and our population is down. This happened before, Genghis Khan, right? We go through history. This is some shit that's happened through history. Women reign superior at that point. We need bodies. We need babies. You know what I mean? The whole goal of our society is going to be let's hide. Let's get these women. Let's find a safe place to deliver these babies so we can get our numbers up so we can have a future for our bloodline. If we're in that situation, who's more valuable than the woman? Right? We can have a million men and we can't make one baby with all these men. So as we go to war, we're losing, we're dying, and we're dying, and we're dying. We need numbers, and other armies outnumber us. You see through history, like, hey, did they start praising the women all of a sudden? We got God Esther coming up and all these, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, oh,
Hmm.
we need them, don't we? Right? I think it just matters the situation.
The
But through history,
situational.
we have a lot of hunter and gathering. I honestly believe, just my personal life, if I'm being 100% honest, that women are superior. I'm just taking my personal life, right?
Hmm.
Anytime I was in the dark space and I needed somebody to shine some light on me, it tended to be a female there. Until I got to my older years, I started, meeting people like you and other people that, kind of play more of a mentor, fatherly type of role. But growing up, has always been women that had my back, always. So I kind of think that they love a little harder. I think they obviously, if we look at who tend to extend the children's life more, at least within our own community, we could be personalized it within the black community. The mothers are killing us in that area. It seems like the father doesn't have as much of a problem, not being there statistically, right? And we're not saying every situation, statistically, where the mothers kind of are better nurturers, but I don't know. That's a tough situation. I think depending on your society, depending on the circumstance and the environment, is going to depend on who is more valued in that environment.
And you
And
don't
I
think
think
that
with
any of that has anything to do with the uh, uh, biblical principles?
I think the
Any of
biblical
it?
principles came off our survival principles, is what I think. I could be wrong though. I think the
Mm.
biblical principles was based on what was going on at the time. And what was going
Really?
on at the time is we don't have police, we don't have phones, we don't have internet. There's no way that you could send a distress signal and have a bunch of people know that you're in trouble and come for miles to come help you. What was around you was your defense. And even if you was a woman, you would probably push for a patriotic society because you were safer around a bunch of men. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
about safety. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just
Mm-hmm.
swords and men could just come and rape and pillage and there's no police, the strongest, not even just men. You know, let's take women away from it. Let's take a non-aggressive man versus an aggressive person. What about a passive man, a man that's peaceful, a man that doesn't want to fight? Let's just take women out of it, since so it's not gender. Let's compare
Okay.
a man that's violent, brutal, a man that's aggressive, that doesn't take no for an answer, and he's built like that in society. On the other side, you got a man that's open, understanding, passive, not so quick to anger. Who's more likely to be dominant in his environment? We put those two men in the same world. Who's more
Mm-hmm.
likely to get further?
I got you.
It's not just men and women. Even men aren't excluded from that same bias that women are. Even men, if you're weak, if you're not tough, if you can't fight, if you're not, we go through the same shit. So much so to where they'll call you a woman. Oh, he a bitch. You a hoe. That's the
Mm-hmm.
word we use for that. For that, he's feminine. So it's not just females. If you want to. I think society says, man, look, man, who makes us safe? Who's tough? If we got something real tough to do, and this is survivability mode, and I think that comes off hundreds of thousands of years of us being hunters and gatherers, of that being the person that was more valued. We're trapped in a cave. There's two saber-tooth tigers outside. What's the dudes that's gonna get the spears and fight the saber-tooth off? He might die. So that's why he's more valuable, right? The one that's
Mm-hmm.
scary and running and hiding, they can run all day, but eventually we're gonna need somebody to stop and fight. When those men want to come over here and take our resources and rape our women, what group of men do we have to fight them off? And if they do
Yeah.
so successfully, they're heroes. If they do so unsuccessfully, then we know we're in need for stronger men. We weren't strong enough. We weren't powerful enough. You get what I'm saying? I think society tells us it's not. Now we don't need that. We got guns. I can have 10 women with me, and you can have 10 men with you, and we got the superior firepower. It's not such a big deal no more. But I think through majority of human history, it's embedded in our brain. I don't think it's religiously. I think it's just environment that we had to be tough. It was war. It was spears. It was hunting, and men seem just based off biology. We're faster. We're stronger. It seems like we're better suited in that environment. That's what I think. I don't think it has nothing to do with religion particularly. Honestly, I think the reason why religion is so matriotic is just based on the needs of humans at the time. That's what I think.
But wouldn't that, if it was on the need of humans, wouldn't that weigh more toward the woman if she's the one producing it?
Got to survive,
Yeah.
Got
So
to
that
stay
would lead.
safe, man. Just
The,
go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. As in general, as far as you know, the toughness perspective of it. Uh, but I was thinking more so that it had more of a sinister agenda when it
Ah,
comes to uh, the religious perspective for what role the women is, because a lot of tell me that that the women is lesser than, and I just find that if they're both created equal, I don't understand how it's not that I'm in favor of either. I'm just trying to see how one weighs more. If I got two nickels and that's what makes a dime, how is one nickel more greater than the other nickel? That's what I'm
we don't
trying to
we don't got two
figure out.
nipples though. I don't like that. I don't, and I got into it with my son's teacher about that one time. And I don't know if I should say this on live, but I'm not into that whole a man could be a woman and a woman could be a man, right? I know I'm stepping into a territory, right? And I don't like to step on these territories on live. But I know I'm stepping into a territory where I could offend people, and I don't like to do that. So if I don't understand anything about the psychology of what they call a transgender would be, then I apologize. Maybe I don't have enough data on it. Maybe there is some people that are born different. in a male's body and think like a woman. But from my level of understanding right now, I don't agree with that, and I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm open for that. But I had a teacher tell my son one time that it's okay for boys to wear dresses. We just take that statement alone. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Boys wearing dresses, right? If a boy wears dresses, he's sinning. Is he a bad person? No. If we just look at it like that. But understanding the society and the environment that we're in today, she knows what she's saying. You're not just saying, oh, you can wear this piece of garment. You're saying it's okay for a boy to behave himself in a fashion as a woman. And that's
Mhm.
and that's what I'm against that. Me personally, right? If my
Mhm.
son were to behave itself in that way, it could be. Let's just look at nature, right? If he is more sexually attracted to boys, then I have less chances of having a grandkid. Has less chance of having my name passed down, right? There's things like that. So how do I counteract that? How do I fight against that? Well, I stand in a society where in Washington State they say, hey, well, you have to learn LGBTQ history. You're right, and I grew up in North Carolina that where that's just not. How do I find it? How do I fight against that? And I have to tell them, hey, this is what boys do, and this is what girls do. Now, if we didn't have the society and the societal norms that we have today, a lot of that shit, like we was an alien, a lot of shit wouldn't make sense. Like you think about it, we just take all the like pink, the color pink. Why do girls wear pink? You think it's just a color, but we've been trained to think of that as a feminine color, right? So if somebody wear pink or wear a certain garment, like if it was an alien, you wouldn't know the difference between dresses and the pants and what they stood for. Or I get what you're saying. We have all these different, but understanding what we know today and understanding that what I'm up against, where I'm in a society where I want my son to have a platonic relationship with a woman, get married, and pass down kids. That's my personal belief. Is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. But that's the way I was raised, and that's what I want. If I have a teacher telling him, well, you can actually take the position as a woman. You actually don't have to have a female counterpart. You could be the female, and I know that means that you're not going to produce a child, right? Then I have to
Right.
use unconventional methods to fight against that. And I'm gonna say, no, you're not gonna get the pink fucking toy. You're gonna get the blue toy because you're a boy. And boys do this and girl that way he know the difference. No, you're not gonna get the dress. You're gonna wear the jeans, and that's how I have to raise them because of what I'm up against. I can say I don't matter and let the schools and child raise them, right? Because I look at that as very matriotic, right? Today in Washington, that's kind of matriotic. So that you could be homo feminine and all, like there's a lot of matriotic rules in the play. And what would that say? Let's go back. Let's take the opposite. Let's say there's no gender roles. Men could be women could be men. Let's go back to the beginning of human history, and let's see that those laws apply. They probably had people in the beginning that were all matriotic. They probably didn't last long. If you want to be honest, they probably didn't last long. A matriotic society. That's probably what happened. It just makes sense if I have to hunt. If I have to hunt and gather, and we got to go to war, it makes sense to put to put your archers in the back and put your strong fucking clubbers in the front. It makes sense. It makes sense to do it to run a society that way. Now, if everybody wants to be equal and you want to put the females in the front on the front line of the battle, while the other dudes got their barbarians up there, and you want to have your big strong dudes in the back because we want to be equal, then we'll see what's going to happen. And I think there should be certain gender roles. Now there should be it should be individual. You got Clarissa Shields. I seen a video of Clarissa Shields knocking out a dude when she was 20 years old, knocking out a 20-year-old professional boxer. She just deserves the opportunity. If we have a female that has a bow and arrow on the back and say, hey, I think I'm good at the club, boss. Now bring your big ass up here and give her a chance at the club. That's the difference. If you have a man that say, hey, man, I ain't too good up here, man. It's just I don't feel right. Let me go back there with archery. Give him a chance to do that. I don't think everybody should have to, but just in general, having gender roles, I think that's important, man. I think saying, hey, this is a man's job. Ask the women. The women don't want to hear, but say something like, if a burglar break in the house right now, who got to go check on that? Let me sit upstairs and when the danger come. When someone when the glass break downstairs and somebody come through the window and we sitting upstairs in our bed, me, you, and the kids, and we sleep in our room, who goes down there to check on that? I'm going down. The man got to go down every time. You get what I'm saying? And nobody questions
Yep.
that. No, the man don't be like, oh man, that's fucked up. Why is that gender roles? That seemed like, you know what I mean? We willing to risk our lives every time for our women most of the time. We will, and there's no question about that. There's no question
And,
of whose role it when it's time to do something like that, there's no question about whose job it is. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, absolutely, I'm with that. But all the examples that I'm getting, which is not just from you, but from the other people I spoke with, are all. Oh, first I want to give a shout out to Crazy JJ. Thanks for tuning in. And Swift 3891. No man, I ain't never been to no damn Diddy party. You tripping?
The
But
diddler.
thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.
It's
But
all love, yeah.
what I was saying is, like all the examples and stuff that I'm getting are where it's about physical action, and they're saying from what I'm gathering is that the women are good at this and the men are good at that. But the women are good at making kids, whatever the women are only ones that make good. So it ain't about if they're good or bad at it. Those are the ones
Right?
that do it. But
Mhm.
the men are good at battle, chest out, fighting, salvage, keeping everybody safe, doing all that stuff too. But
Right?
you catch a mama bear with her cubs. You, you,
Oh yeah.
the male energy that's in the bear is going to be exposed from the female.
That's true.
You're going to see the male side of the female. You understand what I'm saying? Because
That's
there is
true.
no
That's
male
true.
present. But we can't flip that script for if the women don't agree with the men can't carry on with the kids.
That's true.
This- so
Here's the X
what?
factor though. When
So
it comes time for that mama bear to pick up, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So I mean, I guess it's almost like I'm comparing. It's being apples are being compared to airplanes because I know a woman. Well, I'm not questioning who can. If there's 1,000 pound weight on the kid, who's going to pick it up? The boy or the girl? Yeah, I would definitely think the boy would have the more muscle to move that. That's normal. The woman will go get the boy to go do it, but the boy won't can't go get the girl for him to have a baby. You see, but the boy can go get the girl to help him defend himself or defend a situation of in battle, but the woman can battle to herself. So what I'm noticing is that what what he's what he's being compared to having, the other person can't even compare to. So, but if it's not based, and I don't know, I'm talking about it tonight, because I want to try to narrow down uh, the perspective of the motive behind that. Is it just that I'm stronger? What else?
I think, and I'm gonna go out on a whim here. Like I say that the X factor is that the women themselves.
You bumped out, bro. I'm gonna give you a second to pop back in. We're gonna give him a second to pop back in. Just give him another minute or so to see if he's gonna pop back in before I continue without it. All right, y'all. That's my half hour. We'll be back.